Hello guys, welcome to your own channel Chess Radio Kolkata. Now we are going to show you the game of Unknown Bro. That is the first game. Now first game Unknown Bro was playing, that is the 1800 rated opponent. The Unknown Bro is white, starting with the game e4, and black replies with d5, the Scandinavian defense. Now he captures d5, queen captures d5, the misses hot rock variation. Now after knight c3 and queen d8, d4. Now here you can also see like knight f3 or bishop c4 could be considerable for the rapid attack, but in the game it's queen d8 and d4. Now after knight f6 and knight f3, bishop g4, ace 3, bishop into f3, queen into f3. Now knight c6, bishop e3, but the computer is suggesting, you can see the knight, you can see the bishop b5 was the best move over here. Although back to the king, after knight c6 it's bishop e3, e6, bishop b5, now queen d7, long castle, knight d5, knight into d5, e into d5, now rook h to e1, long castle, now bishop g5. Although you can see guys, both the players are doing the long side castle and prepare to attack now on the king side. Now f6, bishop into c6, queen into c6. Now here Unknown Bro start to give up the check, like queen f5 check. Now block with the queen d7. Now queen captures d7 check, king captures d7. But here I can recommend you guys to play rook capture d7. Although you can see after any move, black can develop the bishop and going for a quick attack. But although in the game it's king captures d7, and after bishop f4, c6, c3. Now computer is suggesting to play g5 or h5 would be the best move. But here it's bishop d6. Now just bishop captures d6 and king captures d6. Now you can see black king is marching towards the center, so that is not good for the black. Now rook e3, now rook h to e8, rook d to e1, creating a double battery on the e5 with the white rooks. Now rook captures e3, rook captures e3, rook d7, king d2, b6, a3, c5, d into c5 check, b into c5, rook d3, king c6, b4, c into b4, c into b4, king b5, king e3, a5, b into a5, king into a5, king d4, king b5. Now rook c3, h5, rook c5 check. Now king a4, rook into d5, rook into d5 check, king into d5, king into a3, king e6, king b3, king f7, king c2, king into g7, king d3, king into f6, king e2, f4, king f2. Although here I probably resigned the game, but the black pieces guy wants to play more, because at the Indian analysis it is showing that it's already plus 72.8 to white. But here is the guy, the Unknown Bro. He played g4, and after h4 he simply played g5, and after king g3, g6, king into h3, g7, king h2, g8 equals to queen h3, queen h7, king g2, queen into h3 check, king into h3. Now here it's very important, whenever you have two pawn advantage and one of your pawn is moving to the queen, always try to capture the opponent's pawn. As you can see, king is the perfect placed on the f6 square. So it's queen capture h3 check, king capture h3, king g5, king g3, f3, king f5, sorry, king f3, and after h6 opponent resign. Okay, so thanks for watching the game. Now let's move to the second game. Now just before starting the game, because the game opponent plays d4 and unknown bro playing with the black pieces, so he replied with d4. Usually I replied with e5, that is called the England gambit, and then if opponent try to convert it with the Queen's gambit, then I turn it into the Budapest gambit. Okay, but let's all the back in the game. It's e5, the Queen's pawn game, and after knight c3, that is the Chigorin variation. Now after e6 and a3, knight f6, bishop f4, bishop e7, knight b5, knight a6, bishop e5, c6. Now computer is suggesting the short castle is probably the best over here, but unknown bro goes for the c6. Now knight c3, short castle, e4, d into e4, bishop into f6, bishop into f6, bishop into a6, b into a6. Now you can see at the 10th move, white is capable to give a scattered pawn structure in the black camp with the pieces, with the pawns like the a6 and a7 pawn. Okay, so in the game it's knight g2 e2, and after rook b8 it's b4, a5, knight into e4, a into b4, a into b4, rook into b4, rook into a7. Now bishop into d4. Now you can see the bishop is threatening to win the rook, but here opponent plays c3, is try to fork rook and the bishop, but it's a bishop into a7, queen into d8, rook into d8, c into b4, and after bishop a6, f4 could be followed. Now bishop into e2, now king into e2, rook d4, knight g5, h6, knight h3, rook into b4, rook into c1, rook b2 check, king f3, rook b6, rook c3, c5, knight f2, c4, rook c2, rook b3 check, king e2, bishop into f2, king into f2, c3, king e3, f5, king f3, king f7, h3, king e7, king e3, king d6, king d3. You can see from the last 4 to 5 moves, both are developing their king. They are improving the position of their king. So that is a very good technique for the endgame. Now king d5, g3, g5, f into g5, h into g5, rook into c3, rook into c3 check, king into c3, king e4, king c2, king f3, h4, g into h4, g into h4, king g4, king d3, king into h4, king e2, king g3, king e3, f4 check, king e4, f3, king e2, f2, king into e6, and f1 equals to queen. Now you can, if you like, you can pause the video because it's just 5 moves checkmate. Yes, the game is followed like king d7, queen a6. Now you can see that is the knight trap. And you hold until my money like you Oscar proud. Let me show you, and I'ma get you. I'ma stick into your head just like I'm catching. Like this is a knight. You can see the knight is going at the L. So that is the technique of trapping the king with the queen. So let's go back to the game. It's queen a6 check, king c6, king f4, king d7, king e5. Now king has to move to the last rank, the 8th rank. So king moved to the e8. Now queen b7. Now again you can see that queen is trapping the king by the L. That is the knight trap. Knight is moving like this back. Okay. So at the game it's king f8, king f6, and after king g8, that is queen g7, the check. Okay. The people who can think that I should follow the game very fast to you, then just pause the video or rewind the video. Okay. Now thanks for watching the second game. Now let's move on to the third game. Okay, so the game is starting from e4 c5, the Sicilian defense. Now after d4, that is called the Smith-Morra gambit. The unknown bro just captured the pawn, that is c captures d4, the Smith-Morra gambit accepted variation. Now opponent plays c3. Now capturing the c3 is a bit of blunder, because if you capture the c3, then he can develop his knight, or you can transpose the same game. If you like, after c3 you can play bishop c4, and after c cross b2, that is bishop b2. Now you can see that this game is converted into the Danish gambit, excepting that this pawn is belongs to here. Okay, so just let me show you guys. The Danish gambit is a bit of starting like e4 e5, and after white just offering the d4. Now it's recaptured d4, then offering the second pawn c3. Now decaptures c3, and after bishop c4, pawn is captured, c captures b2, and after bishop captures b2, that is called the Danish gambit accepted variation. Now you can see on the Sicilian to Smith-Morra, this pawn belongs to the c5. Now but the Smith-Morra, this pawn belongs to the e5. Okay, so let's start the game again. e4 c5, d4 c, d4 c, knight f6. Okay. Now it's e5, attacking the knight. Now knight d5, and c into d4. Now he is capturing and gaining some space in the center by white, but Anumbo played knight c6, natural developing move. You can see on the fifth move, black has developed two of his minor pieces. That is the main principle of the opening, that develop your knight with the bishop and develop your minor pieces. So black is playing, the unknown pro is playing like accurate with the theory. It's bishop c4, knight d6, bishop d3, d6, knight c3, a6, d5, e into d5, knight into d5, knight into d5, queen into d5, queen d7, knight f3, knight d4, queen c4, knight c6, short castle, d5, queen f4, h6, rook e1, knight a5, queen e4, rook b5, bishop b3, knight into d3, a into b3, rook b7, queen d4, queen c5, queen into c5, bishop into c5, b4, bishop b6, bishop e3, bishop into e3, rook into e3, short castle by unknown bro. Now rook d1, bishop c6, knight d4, rook f to d8, knight into c6, d into c6, rook e to d3, rook into d3, rook into d3, rook e8, rook d6, rook into e5, g3, rook e4, rook into c6, rook into d4, rook into a6, rook into b2. Now you can see the white rook is already gaining a lot of materials, but although in the game is a rook a8 check. Now king h7, rook b8, b4, king f1, b3, h4, rook b1 check, king e2, b2, king d2, rook f1, rook into b2, rook into f2 check, king c3, rook into b2, king into b2, king d6, king g6, king c3, king h5, king d4, king g4, king e3, king into g3, h5, king h4, king f4, and king into h5. After that, opponent is resigned, and the engine is showing that black is minus 72.6. So thanks for watching the game. Now let's move to the fourth game, the last game. Okay, so be ready for that. Unknown pro playing with the white pieces, starting with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. Now you can see the king's knight opening, normal variation. Okay, now you can see d4, that is the Scotch game, and e captures d4, bishop c4, h6, knight into d4, knight into d4, queen into d4, d6, short castle, knight f6. So that is the Scotch gambit, Scotch gambit, you can see on the board. Knight c3, bishop e7, h3, short castle, f4, bishop e6, bishop into e6, f into a6, bishop e3, b6, rook a to d1, queen c8, e5, d into e5, f into e5, bishop c5, queen d3, bishop into e3 check, queen into e3, knight h7, rook into f8 check, queen into f8, a3, queen e7, queen d4, knight g5, queen d7, rook e8, knight b5, c5, knight into a7, knight f7, knight c6, queen into d7, rook into d7, king f8, rook b7, knight d8, knight into d8, rook into d8, rook into b6, rook d1 check, king h2, rook d2, c3, king f7, rook b5, rook d5, a4, rook into e5, a5, rook d5, a6, rook d8, rook into c5, rook a8, rook a5, rook a7, b4, queen e7, b5, king d6, b6, rook a8, b7, rook b8, and after a7, opponent resign. So thanks for watching 4 of the games. If you people have any comment, just comment below on the comment box, and if you want to play with unknown bro in the online, please comment below and like and share this video. So thanks for watching, and I hope you will meet you soon in the future. Till then, tata, bye bye.